The Civil Rights Director of Oregon State Department of Justice has filed a lawsuit against his employer. It seems the department got a new computer program that lets them search social media, and to test it out, they looked for hashtags related to Black Lives Matter and activism against police violence, turning up a tweet by IRRS Johnson, which led his colleagues to start compiling a report on him without his knowledge. Johnson's lawsuit claims racial discrimination and a hostile work environment for engaging in protected activity. Well, the vivid irony at the core of this story might be that it all began because one of Johnson's tweets included the logo of the group Public Enemy, and one of his white colleagues mistook the black man in crosshairs as a police officer and wrote to his supervisor that Johnson might be a threat to police. But it's also a good illustration of how the targeted use of surveillance technology can be a threat both to civil rights generally and to black people exercising civil rights in particular. Joining us now to talk more about the issue is Brandy Collins. She's the campaign director for media and economic justice at Color of Change, the online racial justice organization. She joins us by phone. Brandy Collins, thanks so much for joining us on Counterspin.
Thank you for having me.
Well, Color of Change, along with the Center for Constitutional Rights, has just filed a lawsuit against the FBI and the Department of Homeland Security about surveillance of the Movement for Black Lives organizers, but it certainly has broader repercussions as well. What, first of all, do we know about what kinds of surveillance there's been? What are we talking about here?
You know, I think the kind of scary thing about it is that we don't know the full extent of it. Most of what we have right now is anecdotal stories. So part of the reason why we started engaging in this work is not only because us at Color of Change and some of our colleagues had different experiences that they weren't certain, okay, is this surveillance or not, but also directly things that we were hearing from people in the field that are on the ground. So we were hearing stories of activists being followed around grocery stores and being referred to by the police by their social media handle, not their name. We heard of movement leaders being sort of preemptively identified and arrested before events, hoping to kind of like chill the atmosphere of the event. And we've heard of multiple attempts of the police blocking attempts to live stream aggressive police behavior through use of technology like Stingray, and also working hand in hand with Silicon Valley companies like Facebook to pull down live streams. We've heard of people being stopped at airports, and I've even experienced this myself, my bags being searched through literally every time I'm traveling to DC in a manner that can't be random. And then also we were hearing stories of people's phones being tampered with after they were being arrested, often for like pretty low-level crimes, like maybe jaywalking or something at a protest, and their phone was confiscated and tampered with and then returned to them. And so we were hearing all of these things happening across the country in a way that didn't feel particularly accidental. And so we started investigating both the activities of the police department, but also putting in these FOIA requests to see what Department of Homeland Security could find, what the FBI could find under the FOIA Act, and would often hear from them. Like we've had a number of FOIA requests in that have either been rejected or they said we can't disclose this